It was ugly, mess everywhere. There was damage done to the window. There was carpet that didn't even span the whole length of the room. It had junk, trash, weird linoleum flooring. It was awful. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Hyla Home. Here we talk about motherhood, natural living, and homemaking, which includes renovating our 1940s home. Today I'm going to be sharing the before and after pictures of my office. I have several shots of this room, but I haven't really shared any footage of what it looked like before we went through this renovation process. It was awful. You will be so surprised. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. I do want to say a quick apology. I am posting this on Tuesday, I know, as opposed to Monday. And that is because the video I filmed for Monday, I forgot to plug in my microphone and it was just awful. I had the swing going on in the background and that was actually right next to the camera. So you really couldn't even hear my voice. It was just the swoosh of the swing and I did not have the opportunity to film and get it up on time. So I apologize for that, but hopefully we'll get that refilmed and that can be posted either Wednesday or Saturday of this week. So with all that out of the way, let's dive into it. So the office was actually one of the strangest rooms for us when we first bought this house. We really weren't sure what to do with that at first. It was this long, almost hall room. It wasn't original to the house. It was actually an add-on made much later. And essentially not the previous owner, but the owner before that, who had actually had the house built, he got up in his age and he was much older, and so he had the office or extension put on the house because he needed a bedroom downstairs since all the bedrooms are upstairs. And with that, he also made a little bathroom in the kitchen. And it was just kind of an awkwardly shaped room. It's very narrow and very long. So initially we weren't 100% sure what to do with it. My husband wanted to make it a bathroom, but I felt as if it was just too long of a room to be made into a bathroom. The room also has two doors. So there's one door leading out into the living room and then one door leading out to the kitchen. So I just didn't feel like it would be the best bathroom situation. Now, conversely, I also didn't feel like it was a great bedroom space. For one, there was no closet. The windows are kind of low to the ground, which makes it hard to fit a bed in here. And then the room is also very narrow, so you'd almost have to stick to like a twin-size bed. So the first thing we had to do is decide what on earth we were going to use this room for. It ended up that the bathroom that was downstairs in the kitchen, we ended up taking out completely because it didn't have a sink and it was very, very small. We knew then that in order to have more than one bathroom, we were going to have to make this extension part into a bath. Now, it was kind of a long room to begin with, and if you see, there's a wall right here now. So essentially what we decided to do, because at that point I was working full-time remote, is to divide out the room where this window ends and make it into two rooms. So there's a bathroom and then there's the office. And that's what we decided to do. And because there was two doors already on either side of the room, it really worked out so that we could do that. So the bathroom already has a door and then this room has the door out to the living room. But just because we decided what it was we wanted to do with it didn't mean that suddenly we put up a wall and the room was done. I mean, you should have seen it. It was ugly. There was a mess everywhere. There was damage done to the window because of vines that had started to grow and make their way in through the walls. There was carpet that didn't even span the whole length of the room. It had junk and trash, weird linoleum flooring. It was just awful. And it took a lot to get this room where it was. The paneling that is now painted a very plain gray was old wood. It was very orange. It was not a good fit for this whole room. Once we decided to make it two rooms, we put up the wall. That was the very first thing we did, and we took out the red carpet. That was the first thing that had to happen in order to get this room ready to be renovated. So with that, all of a sudden we have this wall, and it's not paneling when the rest of the office is. So actually what my husband ended up doing is very carefully taking the paneling from the other side of the room, because we did not want paneling in the bathroom, and re-piecing it together. here on this wall so that it was all uniform in the room. And there is actually one piece that is not the same. He had to kind of make it himself and then put it on. But we were able to salvage enough from the demo in the bathroom in order to make this wall. The ceiling in the office before we renovated it had paneling actually almost exactly the same as the paneling that's up there now. It's just the lines are running this way and it was pieced together and starting to crack. So we actually just put new paneling up on top of it, and we did some beautiful crown molding around the edges that was original to this room. So we resalvaged a lot of things. There was crown molding to begin with, and he took it down and painted and primed it and refinished it, and then he paired it with like some little accents, and so we were actually able to reuse the crown molding. All of the baseboards are also original to this room. They've just been painted, and then the paneling is the same. We just primed and painted it a nice gray color to brighten up the room a whole lot, and I really love this color. This was the color we were going to do in the dining room, which is actually why we picked this, but then when we decided to do white cabinets in the dining room, we decided to do more of a creamy yellow. So most of what you see in the room is original to the room. The paneling, the baseboards, the crown molding, and then the window trim has been replaced. So all of the window trim is new because at the top of this paneling is where it started to fall apart and was rotting because of the vines that were coming in. So that needed replaced and refinished. So the trim around this window and the trim around the other window is new. Then what we decided is we wanted to do new flooring. Now, my dad had refloored his whole house. My parents were the general contractor of their house back about 4 years ago, and they wood floored pretty much their entire home. Well, they had maybe 100 square foot of flooring left. It was such a small amount, but they didn't want to throw it away because it was solid hardwood floor. So they ended up giving it to us, and it was just enough to do the flooring in the office and to have like a little bit left over just in case there was any mess up. So the flooring in the office is leftover wood from my dad's house. It allowed us to have some hardwood floor as opposed to maybe something else that we would have done. And then additionally, what my husband did is he put in outlets. My brother's an electrician, so he kind of helped with my husband figuring out where things needed to go and the wiring. He was able to add 2 outlets, mostly on this wall, which was quite a bit. That is very helpful when you're using it for an office space so that you can plug in different things. So that was something else we did to upgrade this room. So as far as renovation goes, that's really all we had to do to get it finished. This room was actually the first room in the house that was 100% done. Caveat, besides the light still needs installed. And then long term, we'd like to get a barn door for the entrance, but that is not a necessity in any world. After that, we really just got to play with designs and decor. The rug that is in the office is actually the rug I had in my bedroom growing up. It was a Christmas gift several years ago from my mom to me, and so I got to take that and put that in here, and it just really functions with the space. The dresser is something I also had in my bedroom. It was a piece my parents had, and I chalk painted it a distressed white, and then my husband repainted it later to just more of a flush white to match the trim and baseboards of the house. And then the shelf that I have in here that goes right above that, my husband actually made that, and so we mounted it to the wall, and it just has been really beautiful ever since then. The desk that I sit at all the time, as you know, that was a Facebook Marketplace find, and I just absolutely love that. Same thing for the bench. It was a Facebook Marketplace find, and it matches the set that's in our living room. So it's nice because it kind of bleeds the 2 spaces together and helps them feel more like part of one another, since right now there's no door. I have in here a little bookshelf. I don't think it will live here long term. It's just kind of a temporary piece, but that was actually an antique that my grandmother found. She was really into thrifting antiques. That was a piece that she had that I got to take with me. And then our little shelf lamp that I use to put the baby's diaper stuff while we have 2 in diapers. That is an Amazon find. All of of these pieces have kind of been collected over the years. It makes it feel kind of fun and collective. I have talked about that I do want to replace the dresser in here with maybe something more vintage to match the desk, but that's long in coming, and right now I really like the functionality of having so many giant drawers to store sewing stuff, camera stuff, clothes I'm selling on Poshmark, all that sort of stuff. So this space is really special to me. My husband put a lot of his own artistic inspiration in here. The crown molding was something he was really excited about. He was the one who suggested that we paint it gray in the first place. I was afraid it was going to make it cold and modern, but honestly, I feel like it just turned out really warm and bright. He was the one who was looking into desks. Initially, I wanted kind of a low, plain desk, and he was the one who suggested to do a secretary desk to fill in that space. It worked out really well. It was so pretty. And then he, of course, made the shelf. Overall, this is one of my favorite rooms in the house. I love coming in here to film. I love coming in here to write. The kids play in here all the time. They're playing in here now as I'm trying to film. And from every angle, this office is, in my opinion, just one of the prettiest rooms in the house. So at the end of the day, that is our renovation story for the office. It wasn't as extravagant as, say, like the bathroom or as much work as, say, the kitchen, but it is a really neat room that we totally upgraded to be so beautiful, and I am so happy I get to share that with you today. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate everybody who's taken the time to subscribe. You all have blessed days. Thank you, and bye.